So I want to share with you a story. Sadly, I'm not able to remember where I found it, but maybe it's all just story, but doesn't matter. I think it's good. So bear with me. It's about a scientist situated deep in the Canadian woods, doing some research on local bear population. And one day he sat as usual, high up in a pine tree with his goggles, searching the horizon for bears. All of a sudden, he hears that somebody is down there below the tree. And underneath him, he sees a big bear that had caught the scent of him, and it seems very determined to become closely acquainted with him. Okay, yes, this story is also mentioned in the book, but okay. This is, of course, very unwelcome surprise to the scientist. He is very well aware that this bear is a skilled climber and that an encounter with this bear is not for the faint-hearted. Of course, he is equipped with a rifle and thus able to defend himself. But you know, he's not out there to kill bears. He's been paid to study them in order for the forestry to earn good money without threatening the bear population. His thoughts are interrupted by the sound of bursting twigs as the big bear made its way up through the tree. The scientist had to find a solution, and quick. Out of nowhere, he pulls his knife off the sheath, turns to his ladder, and makes a short series of distinct knocks with his knife. Tuck, 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 tuck. From the cold steel, hitting the hollow structure of his aluminium ladder, a wave of very artificial sounds emanate and echo through the otherwise silent forest. He stops breathing and turns his attention to the bear. As the strange ringing sound stops, so does the bear, hesitating, looking around as if asking himself, "What am I doing here?" Then he slowly steps down, one branch at a time, and trot away without looking back. This story about the scientist's encounter with the bear blends perfectly in with the topic from our workshop last Sunday, unsolvable conflicts. Sunday, we visited a dog and a leopard trapped in an Indian toilet. Like these two animals, the scientist of today's story finds himself trapped as he understands that a big bear starts climbing up his tree. His ladder points downwards, leading him down to the bear. He cannot climb into the sky. The treetop is the limit. He has the option, though, to use his weapon, which of course gives him some comfort. But as you know, the saying goes, it's never too late to panic, so why start with it? So if you think it's about, no, I think it's not time to panic. There is something that you do not understand. This is not how it goes. So what is panic? Panic is the state when logical reason is replaced by fight and flight reaction. This is about a situation that is overwhelming, where the mind says, telepathically, tells the body, sorry, body, I lost control. Now you're on your own. Then the body takes over and does what it can. When the one in charge, me, my higher being, loses the grip, one possible outcome is fainting. The conscience blackens and the body sinks to the ground. And the other one is panic. There is some kind of awareness, but the body acts on its own without the interference of the conscious mind. The body itself determines whether it finds it appropriate to engage in fight or rather to run. So no, you cannot really decide whether you want to panic or not, because the point is, panic happens when we get out of our minds, out of control. Now, is this an interesting question? If you stay in control, panic will not happen, right? Absolutely. Or what about, can you decide to stay in control no matter what? Well, this is a harder one. What we can do, however, is prepare ourselves for whatever might happen. So what does it mean to stay in control? Staying in control means that you, the eternal being, stays with your body and leads it through whatever happens. You carry your body in loving attention like a horseman do his horse. In this manner, whatever happens on the battlefield, the horse feels safe. Hence, the problem is not so much the body, rather it's you, the eternal being, that needs to strengthen itself. But how? Whenever we are challenged, we pay all attention to whatever our senses serve us. When the crocodile comes, the crocodile feels all of the picture. When the bear comes, it feels all of the picture. The sensations may eventually overwhelm us, meaning that we see nothing else. And here lies the problem. When the scientist hears the sound of the sniffing bear, the sensation of being trapped could very soon overwhelm him. Nowhere to go equals becoming bear's dinner very soon. The scientist knew he did not have to become overwhelmed, yet he still had some time, and he used his few seconds wisely. So what did he do? He looked for something else than this hungry bear. He did not deny the approaching danger, but he denied the perception of it to demand all of his attention. He demanded it to shrink, so to speak, in order to be able to see if there was something else out there. He actually pulled the picture of the threatening bear a little bit aside and looked for an opening where he could act. The problem with it is that the fear of being eaten is so big and the alternative solution does not exist. Yet, it is so much easier to see the big danger being there than the not yet existing solution. That is why it is so easy to forget to look for it. This is where your preparedness comes in. You need to exercise this, practice it. You need to challenge yourself in order to know, regardless what happens, I will look behind the overwhelming fear. I will look for an eventual opportunity. More so, I want to and need to stay in control. I expect it to be there. Can you feel the difference? I have to exercise until I know for sure, anytime, whatever I experience, I will stay in control. I will look for the opening, the solution. This is exactly what the scientist did. From an outside perspective, he was in a dire situation. And yet, what did he do? Pull out his knife and start playing with it, making funny sounds in the forest, which turned out to be the game changer. These sounds distracted the track of the bear, and off it went. Could you know that beforehand? Of course not. So staying playful in these dire situations is really a challenge. So when we panic, we lose our mind, we say. How do you lose your mind? What does that mean? Yeah, losing your mind. Okay, in order to prevent panic, we have to secure our mind. The only thing prohibiting you from connecting to your mind or your spirit being is the attention you pay to the fear, to the doubt, to the loneliness, to the helplessness, and all the other bad feelings. Because you are not securely connected to the body. Your ego disperses ignorance all over the whiteboard of your consciousness. Wipe it out, and you are connected. You, the spiritual being, do not belong to the physical world. Only the body does. As with everything else in the not physical world, the consciousness, snarled with the ego, will easily forget about it if you do not pay attention, that is. Conversely, the instant you pay attention, it's there, unavoidable. So let's do it.